So the IPO market, Rob, is being dominated at the moment by talk of WeWork, the office share company. But it's interesting that yesterday we had some numbers came out from Airbnb, or one number came out from Airbnb, its revenue, and it's looking pretty good. Now WeWork is basically having the wind kicked out of it, its valuation's collapsed. Airbnb looks a bit more promising. How are you measuring these two companies against one another?
Well, if you want to just look at the business model, for instance, WeWork, what do? They burn tons of capital. They face lots of competition. There are no economies of scale. Like, as the bigger it gets, it just seems to lose more money. And they've got lots of red governance flags, of course. All these things just make it a really undesirable thing. So that's why when the company went to investors and said, hey, we want to go public at 47, they're like, ha. And then, now it's down to like well below $20 billion.
Right. So the valuation is halved before it's even got to
Yeah, and now let's take a look at Airbnb. So today they said that they're going to go public in 2020. Now take a look at their business model. They dominate the category if you want to go, and that's because there are real economies of scale. If you rent a house, you want to go to where all the people renting are, and that's Airbnb. Opposite too. If you want to rent something, you go to Airbnb because they have all the houses on it. Also, it doesn't need much capital. The last time they raised capital was 2017. They've only raised 4.4 billion over their lifespan, over about 10 years.
Right. Well, WeWork
has raised like 3 times as much money. And if you just look at so today they said they had over $1 billion in a quarter. That's more than WeWork did in the last quarter.
They haven't talked about profit though, right?
They said that they're EBITDA positive both last year and the year before. WeWork had over negative 500 million of EBITDA in the last quarter alone.
So we've had a lot of tech IPOs recently, and I'm thinking particularly things like Uber and Lyft that say they're tech, but actually they do real world things. They've got assets, they've got people who work for them. This is obviously a big issue for Uber, which is fighting all kinds of court cases about its labor relations. Airbnb is the real deal though, isn't it? It's a tech company with no assets.
It's closer to one. It's still a bit, it's not quite a software company where they just kind of issue the software. It's more like eBay, for instance. It's similar to how eBay used to be, where they just collect a transaction fee, and it is just kind of an overlay, a technological overlay over real-world assets, and that's kind of desirable because if you're just collecting tolls, it's easier to be profitable than running a company where you have lots of assets and you have to worry about what's going to happen if the economy turns down or renting it out.
So WeWork is now postponing its IPO. It's saying it's going to get its IPO done by the end of the year, maybe. But Airbnb is going for next year. What are the prospects, do you think, for Airbnb, given all the stuff we've been talking about? Is it going to be a good,
far better
good deal?
It's simply just because WeWork has such desperation right now, and there's a reason for that desperation because they need the cash very badly. Airbnb doesn't have that. They can sit back and wait, and that makes them much more desirable. And so the IPO will probably go well.
Got it. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Join us here tomorrow for more breaking views.